This causes also a loss of your reality. It means that your reality, what you perceive to be true, is being shattered. If your gut is saying he's lying, and you're not normally a person who's suspicious or paranoid, he's lying. It's almost like a double layer of betrayal. Welcome to Fan Mail, a space where I answer your real questions about toxic relationships, narcissistic abuse, and the long road to healing. I recently got a fan mail from Atlanta, Georgia, who writes, "My husband claims that his Facebook is not his. He's not looking at other women and seeking dating sites and searching for women near him. He claims that someone hacked his Facebook, and yet in his phone, you can see an amazing amount of phone calls with no identity. When I go to hit redial, it just says not taking phone calls at this time. I believe that he's going to a site where he can get a video fed to his phone. He claims I'm crazy and out of my mind. I also found an STD clinic information on his phone by signing up for White Pages reverse phone call information. I know I'll never get him to admit to anything. He claims he loves me and that I'm crazy and to stop making accusations. And when I do, he flips out and makes me feel like I'm alone in my life. It sucks. Wow. As texting this, I'm realizing I have a cheater on my hands, and it sucks because I'm about to explode. I've been married for 48 years. I want to first really let you know how much I resonate with you and how crazy making it is to be in a relationship with somebody who refuses to own that they are behaving in a way that's hurtful and deceptive. That it's almost like a double layer of betrayal. There's the betrayal of the cheating, but then there's the betrayal of your reality and of your love and the care for you. That they're showing contempt not only for the loyalty and the commitment they've made to the relationship, but they're showing betrayal to your sensitivity and your feelings. If your gut feels that this is suspicious, and there is a lot about this story that is extremely suspicious. I mean, if he had a hacked Facebook account, then he wouldn't be getting all these weird phone calls. He would be doing something to get his Facebook account back, and it would show that it's hacked. By the way, I've experienced a hacked Facebook account, and when that happens, they take it over and put a storefront on it. So if he doesn't have a storefront up on his Facebook trying to sell weird stuff from odd places, he's not telling you the truth. And it's interesting how he's constantly calling you the crazy one, which is really shifting blame away from the holes in his story as a way to make the issue you. That's classic DARVO, which stands for deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. So he's denying that that this is true. He's attacking you for bringing it up, and then he's making you the villain for calling him out when really you're the victim. You know, it's interesting. You have a lot of evidence. You found hidden caller IDs. There is an STD clinic reference on his phone. And even just your instinct that says that something's not right says that something's not right. That's what I didn't realize until the end of the relationship, that I didn't need to prove that my ex had been cheating. Just the fact that I knew something was wrong and I didn't feel safe in the relationship was more than enough information. I should have listened to how I felt, how this relationship made me feel small and less than and in danger, how I felt like I was going crazy, how confused I was, that love doesn't lead to confusion. Love leads to feeling safe and able to express yourself, able to show up. So I hear that this relationship is not doing that for you. If anything, it's leaving you feeling very confused, very, very hurt, and feeling like something's incredibly out of control. So, you know, here's the other piece that I hear in your story is that you've been married a very long time, and now you're realizing that your partner is essentially living a second life, that he has a double life. And that means that every memory that you have of this relationship, it's sort of like, it's like a map. Living with someone, you create these moments in time that act like landmarks. There's a moment when you have, maybe you had children, you announced that you were pregnant, or they held the baby for the first time. There's moments where you guys go out of town, or maybe you get away for a special weekend. Maybe you've attended some special event in your life, and you have this memory about what you believe happened and what went on around that. And now all of this is coming into question. It's like, where is he when he says he's somewhere? Is he really where he says that he's at? All those moments that you felt like something was a little odd or off, or maybe you thought there was a look between him and somebody else that seemed a little strange. Now you're revisiting them, wondering maybe there's something real to those things. This causes also a loss of your reality. It means that your reality, what you perceive to be true, is being shattered. And that in itself is highly traumatic because we base ourselves on who we are from where we've come from our past. So you're having to rewrite history, taking into account the fact that you may have someone who's living a double life. So I want to just say to you that I really hear the pain and that you're standing on the edge of an awakening that's extremely heartbreaking. So here's some advice that I want to give to you as someone who's walked through this as well. If your gut is saying he's lying and you're not normally a person who's suspicious or paranoid, he's lying. You've been describing the deflection, flipping out, calling you crazy. That's classic emotional manipulation. That's not the actions of someone who wants to rebuild trust. And that is not the action of somebody who actually loves you. Love is patient, kind, long-suffering. It has self-control. It creates peace. You're not describing that. You're describing chaos, deflection, defensiveness, criticism, and probably even some stonewalling, although you didn't mention that. I also want you to know being told that you're crazy is a form of psychological abuse. That's gaslighting. And this causes you to erode self-trust and it destabilizes you emotionally, that's what it's designed to do. It's designed to do that. And I can really hear that you are feeling the deep betrayal because this is a long-term relationship. And you thought you knew what your life was like and you thought you knew who you'd married, and now you're having this very traumatic realization. Realizing this doesn't mean that you've been weak. It actually means you're waking up to a truth your body has sensed probably long ago. So I really want to urge you to consider talking to someone who has betrayal trauma experience, who understands what you're going through, the breach to your emotional safety. You can search for that often like through sites that offer directories of psychologists and social workers. Look for someone who actually mentions in the description of their types of treatment that they understand betrayal trauma. Also, here's another thing I wish I had done and didn't make a mistake around. Please document things. Keep evidence of what you find, of photographs, text messages, screenshots, anything that you can find. Please keep for clarity, not to use it as revenge, but to back up and support your story. You never know when you might need it down the road if things move into some form of a legal issue. So use this as a way to break the confusion that you're experiencing. Also, be sure to really protect your own digital privacy, especially your own accounts and communications. Make sure that you have them well password protected, not with the same password, and that you're storing things in a safe place. And also consider joining a support group, whether it's with a therapist that you find locally or a group maybe you find, or even an online space like the Toxic Free Relationship Club that I run. Please don't isolate. It's easy in these situations to feel a great deal of shame, like you should have known better, or there's something wrong with you to have a partner that's cheating, or even to feel like there's something wrong with you because your partner is cheating. I know that I was shocked by the amount of shame that I felt for just saying it out loud, as if somehow his shame implicated or contaminated, tainted me. It doesn't. What your partner does on their own time is of their own making and reflects on them, not on you. So thank you so much for reaching out, Atlanta, Georgia. I really appreciate the trust. And if you're listening to this and you have a question for me, please be sure to drop it in. If you found this on a podcast where it says text me, leave me a text, please know that's not a live line, but it's a great way to ask me a question. But if you see this on YouTube or elsewhere, please put it in the comment section and highlight it with the words fan mail questions so that I know that it's something you want me to take up in a future episode.